Hello and welcome to Prepspot. In this video, we are going to know about a significant event in recent Indo-Pakistani relations, the events of May 2025, which saw India's strategic success in countering Pakistani aggression following a major counter-terrorism operation. This analysis will focus on how India navigated these complex events, drawing from information pertinent to competitive examinations. The core of these events lies in Operation Sindoor, a tri-service military operation launched by India on 7 May 2025. This operation involved precision missile strikes aimed at neutralizing terrorist infrastructure, specifically 9 terrorist camps located in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The operation was a direct response to the tragic Pahalgam terrorist attack of 22 April 2025, which resulted in the deaths of 26 individuals. Sindoor, the operation's name, refers to the vermilion powder traditionally used by Hindu women, a symbol chosen to evoke the grief of widows, particularly highlighting the loss of Himanshi Narwal's husband in the Pahalgam attack. The name itself, originating from a viral image of spilled sindoor resembling blood, was intended to symbolize India's pursuit of vengeance and justice. Operation Sindoor was defined as a precision strike operation, targeting facilities used by non-state actors to carry out terrorist activities, while specifically aiming to avoid engaging directly with Pakistan's state military forces. The operation was executed swiftly, lasting only 25 minutes, from 1:05 am to 1:30 am on 7 May 2025. Indian forces successfully struck 9 terrorist camps, 4 within Pakistan and 5 in POK, with estimates suggesting that approximately 100 terrorists were neutralized. The operation was strategically designed to disrupt the terrorist network's recruitment, training, and overall operational capabilities, all while carefully avoiding actions that could escalate into a full-scale military conflict with Pakistan. Key terminology to understand includes loitering munitions, which are drones capable of hovering over targets before striking to ensure precision, and precision strikes, guided missile attacks designed to minimize collateral damage. The operation utilized 24 missiles, with 4 specifically targeting Markaz Taiba in Muridke, a location identified as the Lashkar-e-Taiba headquarters and linked to the 2008 Mumbai attacks. Crucially, the operation was announced and executed on 7 May 2025, in direct response to the Pahalgam attack of 22 April 2025. The success of Operation Sindoor was largely attributed to the use of Bengaluru-developed loitering munitions, which ensured a high degree of accuracy and minimized the risk of unintended civilian casualties. The operation was a tri-service effort, coordinated through a unified command structure, with real-time intelligence guiding the selection of targets. The locations targeted included, in Pakistan, Markaz Subhan Allah in Bahawalpur, Markaz Taiba in Muridke, the Mehmoona Zoya facility in Sialkot, and a site identified as Sarjal Tehra Kalan, and in POK, Markaz Ahle Hadith Barnala in Bhimber, Markaz Abbas in Kotli, Maskar Rahil Shahid in Kotli, the Shawai Nala camp in Muzaffarabad, and Markaz Sayyidna Bilal. Key individuals involved in the events included Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who oversaw the operation, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, who confirmed its precision, and Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri, who briefed the United Nations Security Council. Operation Sindoor achieved several merits, notably successfully disrupting terrorist operations, showcasing India's advancements in defense technology, and bolstering national morale and unity. However, it also carried the significant demerit of risking escalation with Pakistan, a nuclear-armed nation. While the operation was strategically effective, it faced some critique, with arguments that military action alone may not fully address the root causes of terrorism, and the symbolic naming of the operation, Sindoor, drew criticism from some feminist perspectives for potentially reinforcing patriarchal narratives. It's important to note that Operation Sindoor marked the first Indian military strike in Pakistan's Punjab province since the 1971 war, signaling India's firm stance and zero-tolerance policy on cross-border terrorism. Following Operation Sindoor, Pakistan launched retaliatory actions on 8 May 2025. These actions included cross-border shelling, attempted drone and missile attacks, and infiltration attempts, all directed at Indian civilian and military targets. The core concept behind these actions was to retaliate against India and assert Pakistan's military presence, although these efforts proved largely ineffective due to India's robust defense systems. Key terminology includes cross-border shelling, which refers to artillery fire directed across the line of control or the international border, and infiltration, the unauthorized crossing of borders by armed personnel. The Pakistani shelling primarily targeted areas in Poonch, Rajouri, and Kupwara, with a particularly egregious attack on a Sikh Gurudwara in Poonch, which heightened communal tensions in the region. The shelling resulted in the deaths of 12 to 16 civilians and 1 soldier on the Indian side, while Pakistan claimed that the Indian strikes caused 26 deaths and 46 injuries, as reported by Al Jazeera. These retaliatory actions began early on 8 May 2025 and continued throughout the day. The locations affected by Pakistan's actions included Jammu, specifically Satwari, Samba, Rupeespura, and Ernia, Pathankot, Udhampur, and even further inland areas such as Jaisalmer and Bikaner. Pakistan's military employed loitering munitions and drones in their attacks, but India successfully intercepted 8 missiles using its S-400 air defense systems, as reported by Reuters. Pakistan's Defense Minister, Khwaja Mohammad Asif, indicated that further retaliation was planned, but these attacks were ultimately thwarted by India's defensive capabilities, also according to Reuters. Key Pakistani figures during this period included Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Defense Minister Asif, who oversaw Pakistan's response. While these actions demonstrated Pakistan's intent to retaliate and maintain domestic political support, their overall ineffectiveness exposed certain limitations in their military capabilities. Furthermore, the civilian casualties resulting from Pakistan's actions negatively impacted their international image. The retaliatory actions were widely viewed as escalatory and carrying a significant risk of a broader conflict, without achieving any substantial strategic gains. These actions also represented a clear violation of existing ceasefire agreements, further highlighting the ongoing tensions along the line of control. India's response to Pakistan's retaliation focused on robust defensive countermeasures to neutralize the attacks and protect both civilian and military assets. This defensive strategy relied heavily on advanced technology and vigilant border security measures to maintain territorial integrity. A crucial component of India's defense was the S-400 air defense system, a Russian-made system renowned for its ability to intercept missiles and aircraft at long ranges, effectively negating the threat from Pakistan's missile attacks. The Border Security Force, or BSF, India's primary border guarding organization, played a vital role in preventing infiltration attempts. India successfully intercepted 8 missiles and 3 drones, and also foiled infiltration attempts in Samba and Punjab. There were also unconfirmed reports of a Pakistani jet being downed in Pathankot, as reported by the Times of India. Specifically, 2 drones were shot down in Naushera, and 1 was downed in Ramgarh, near Jaisalmer, with this particular interception occurring between 4:30 a.m. and 5:30 a.m. on 8 May 2025. The success of India's defense was largely attributed to the effective utilization of the S-400 systems, which ensured that no damage resulted from the missile attacks, and the BSF's vigilance, which prevented any breaches of the border. Real-time intelligence and rapid response coordination were critical in the successful execution of these defensive measures. The locations where India's defensive actions took place included Jammu, Pathankot, Naushera, Samba, Punjab, and Jaisalmer. Notably, Wing Commander Vyomika Singh played a significant role in India's air defense operations. These defensive successes protected Indian territory, demonstrated India's technological superiority in defense, and effectively minimized casualties on the Indian side. However, the civilian deaths resulting from Pakistan's shelling exposed certain gaps in India's border defense capabilities. While India's defensive actions were largely successful, the inability to completely prevent all civilian casualties underscores the ongoing challenges in maintaining comprehensive border security. India's effective use of both indigenous and imported defense systems highlights the nation's growing self-reliance in the defense manufacturing sector. In the aftermath of these events, India implemented a series of measures aimed at protecting civilians and enhancing overall security. These measures were primarily focused on minimizing disruptions to daily life while ensuring the safety of the population. A significant step was the closure of 21 airports in northern India until 10 May 2025, which resulted in the cancellation of over 430 flights. Schools were also temporarily shut down in Jammu and Kashmir and in the border districts of Punjab, as reported by The Hindu. An 8-hour blackout was enforced in Gurdaspur from 9 p.m. on 8 May to 5 a.m. on 9 May 2025, and a ban on drone operations was imposed in Leh. These measures were implemented starting on 8 May 2025, with some, like the airport closures, extending until 10 May. The areas affected by these measures included Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, and Himachal Pradesh. Prime Minister Modi chaired a high-level security meeting to coordinate the response, and Home Minister Amit Shah oversaw the implementation of civilian safety measures. These measures were successful in reducing civilian exposure to risks and maintaining public order during a tense period. However, they also inevitably caused temporary disruptions to normal life, affecting education, travel, and economic activity. While necessary from a security perspective, these measures highlight the temporary economic and social costs associated with such events. Overall, these actions reflect India's proactive approach to crisis management. India's diplomatic and international engagement played a crucial role in shaping the narrative surrounding the conflict and managing its broader implications. India's diplomatic efforts were geared towards justifying Operation Sindoor and preventing any further escalation of hostilities. India briefed 13 out of the 15 member nations of the United Nations Security Council on its actions, notably excluding Pakistan from these briefings. The United States, China, the United Kingdom, and Singapore all issued statements urging de-escalation from both sides, as reported by The Hindu. Notably, Iran expressed solidarity with India in the wake of the Pahalgam attack. The UNSC briefing took place on 7 May 2025, while the various international statements were issued on 8 May. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri led India's diplomatic efforts, while the US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, engaged directly with Pakistan's Prime Minister Sharif. These diplomatic efforts were largely successful in gaining international understanding, if not outright support, for India's actions. However, Pakistan's counter-narrative, emphasizing civilian casualties resulting from Indian strikes, posed a challenge to India's position. While generally effective, India's diplomatic efforts were somewhat limited by the global reluctance to take sides in the long-standing disputes between India and Pakistan. These events underscore the critical importance of diplomacy in managing conflicts between nuclear-armed nations and mitigating the risks of escalation. Domestically, the events of May 2025 elicited strong public and political support, which significantly bolstered India's resolve. A crucial all-party meeting held on 8 May 2025 saw prominent opposition leaders like M.K. Stalin and Tejasvi Yadav expressing their support for the government's actions, as reported by The Hindu. The Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, or RSS, a major socio-political organization, hailed Operation Sindoor as the beginning of justice for the victims of the Pahalgam attack, also according to The Hindu. Public displays of support were also evident, with Tiranga marches or marches carrying the Indian flag taking place in major cities like Delhi's Sadar Bazaar and Connaught Place. These public and political responses peaked on 8 May 2025, demonstrating a strong sense of national unity. However, there were also isolated incidents of communal tension, such as an attack on a boy in Shahjahanpur for praising the military operation. Colonel Sofia Qureshi was prominently featured in public narratives, symbolizing the role of the armed forces. The widespread domestic support fostered national unity and provided a strong mandate for the actions of the armed forces. However, these events also carried the risk of fueling divisive rhetoric and communal tensions within the country. These responses highlight the complex interplay between the emotional impact of terrorism and military action and the need for responsible public discourse. In conclusion, the events of May 2025, characterized by Operation Sindoor and its aftermath, likely represent a strategic victory for India. India successfully dismantled key terrorist infrastructure through Operation Sindoor and effectively countered Pakistan's retaliatory actions on 8 May 2025. This success can be attributed to several factors: India's utilization of advanced technology, including the S-400 air defense system and indigenously developed loitering munitions, the vigilance and effectiveness of India's border security forces, and India's strategic diplomatic engagement. While civilian casualties resulting from Pakistani shelling are a regrettable aspect of these events, India's overall ability to protect its territory, minimize its own casualties, and garner significant domestic and international support underscores its strategic success. The symbolic naming of Operation Sindoor and the ever-present risk of escalation between nuclear-armed neighbors remain important points of debate and caution. However, India's measured approach throughout the crisis likely played a key role in preventing a broader and more destructive conflict. For those of you preparing for competitive examinations, this analysis of the events of May 2025 is crucial for understanding contemporary issues in national security, international relations, and India's evolving defense capabilities. Answer this question in comments. The correct answer will be given hot and pinned. Lastly, we just want to let you know that we are a newly emerging online platform for competitive exams. Creating educational explainer videos like these requires a lot of effort, money, and time. If you like these videos and want us to excel and create videos in all categories of competitive exams, then you can consider supporting us with a one-time donation through the Ko-fi platform and also by becoming a member through Patreon. This will help us create more such informative educational videos in the competitive exams space. So, one last time, subscribe and share this channel with all your friends who are preparing for competitive exams. And also, follow us on social media platforms. The links are given in the About section of the channel and also in the video description. So, see you in the next video.